Alright, so while my friends and I were talking after Sonic 3, my second viewing and their first viewing, one of them brought up how he felt about watching former classmates of his get married and have kids. Yes, the birth rate may be going down. Yes, not as many people are wanting to have kids, but it's still happening. Maybe not as frequently, maybe not as early, but it's definitely physically happening. So, yeah, me personally, observing this in the form of seeing my cousins on my dad's side in upstate New York start having kids, because one of them's still not married and has a kid with his girlfriend, which I don't think is a problem. I completely respect their decisions. The one who's older than me is got married first. But yeah, I guess it's kind of strange to know that now our generation, that being the grandkids of my grandparents on my dad's side, that's expected to have the things going on, whereas the grandparents are around the point of life expectancy. Well, in the case of my dad's side, just my grandfather who's still alive. The parents slash aunts and uncles are the heading towards retirement, and now all five of us, the grandkids of my grandfather, are all over the age of 25. Yeah, my friend felt kind of sad seeing it, I guess, because he uh, wants a successful relationship, and I wish him the best. I hope he finds happiness. Me personally, though, I mentioned in my why nobody wants kids video, that I'm not really interested in having kids. I actively don't want to because I don't think I could handle the responsibility. I'm actually I actually have an intake appointment coming up with a therapist. It'll probably have passed by the time this video goes up. So yeah, let that go. I am not in a good place for being able to do that. So it kind of works out that I've been single my entire life. I'm officially a 28-year-old virgin if we have to use the government number rather than my 18 with an extra X years of experience, right as of last Friday, 10. So I've been an adult for a decade, never been in a relationship, never been married, never even had to worry about getting a woman pregnant. Now, obviously, different people have different needs and wants. My friend would obviously feel some kind of fulfillment if he were to get married and have a kid. More power to him if that's what he wants. But it's not something I really worry about. I'm happy for all my former classmates and relatives who are getting married and or having kids. I'm glad that they're finding happiness, and I accept that it's an inevitable part of getting older. Despite the marriage and birth rate declining, marriages and childbirths are still going to happen. Yeah, I actually found out that one of my former classmates proposed to his girlfriend, now fiance, literally blocks away from the New England Aquarium on the same day that I happened to be there. I recognized the background in his Instagram post, and then I saw the date, and I was like, oh, wait, I was there that day. Obviously, it must have happened while I was inside the aquarium because I walked up and down that walkway for quite a bit while I was waiting for my timed entry. I'm really wishing I just bought my ticket at the box office there, especially because they're non-refundable. I mean, it's not like I'm going there anytime soon because one, it's really cold out and I don't want to venture out in the cold. And two, I'm keeping costs as low as possible, which I will talk about in another video. But yeah, when I saw it, I was like, oh, cool. That guy from high school is getting married now. And it just so happens that I was within walking distance of it. For all I know, uh, well, we could have passed by each other, and he recognized me at my high school reunion in 2021, but if he was too focused on the whole proposal situation, if you're watching this, you know who you are. I don't blame you. You had something more important to think about than me. So, yeah, and the off chance that the person this is about is watching this, congratulations on getting engaged. But yeah, for me, I wouldn't want a wedding. I've seen too many YouTube videos about divorce court being hard on men, and I'm like, yeah, I think this is not a risk worth taking for me. Matt Walsh can be like, well, you have to take the risk sometimes. You have to keep your bloodline going. Yeah, but just because other people have done that doesn't mean I have to. I mean, if I had found a woman who I considered marriageable for me, meaning she was as much against drinking, smoking, and drugs as I am, then one, it would be a hassle to put together a wedding and reception that did not include alcohol in any capacity. I mean, I know it's technically physically possible, but you'd have to deal with a lot of blowback from people who would disagree with it, and that and then there'd be the question of finding a venue and blocking the alcohol. Because I know when I told my mom that she could rent a hall for my graduation party, but you couldn't allow alcohol, she was like, they aren't gonna do that because that's how they make their money. And I was like, then we're not having a party then. It's that simple. So yeah, even if I found a woman who personally does not drink, smoke, or do drugs, even if I found a woman who I considered marriage material, who didn't want kids, same as me, if she was okay with there being alcohol at the reception for a wedding, I'd be like, no, my name is on that ceremony. There will be no alcohol or there will be no ceremony. Like I told my mom about my graduation parties, the hypothetical ones. It's that simple. I mean, there is some mental gymnastics I could do. I could be like, the wedding ceremony is all about her anyway. So it's not really my thing. Kind of like how on my birthday, I didn't think of the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 group viewing as a Henry's birthday thing. It just happened to be a day that the organizer could get everyone together because he insisted on having people together, and it just happened to fall on my birthday. And we agreed not to make it a Henry's birthday thing. I retroactively didn't call it that because the organizer's dad had an alcoholic beverage, which if I'd put it together, I would have, I am trying to figure out a way how to put this politely. I would probably have just refunded all the tickets and been like, okay, bye. Luckily, I was able to do the mental gymnastics to be like, this is not a Henry's birthday event. I am not. I am not going to walk away because of that, because it is not an event held in my name. This is my friend's Sonic 3 group viewing that happens to fall on my birthday, and I chose to come out and do this so that I could say I did something a little more on my birthday than just stay at home and play video games. So yeah, I decided there would be I decided, I decided my protocol for how to react to that is there will be no screaming, there will be no indignation. I'll just stand my ground and say either there will be no alcohol or there will be no event. You can pick one, but if you can't make an event that does not have alcohol, then there will be no event. And I'm not apologizing for that. Anyway, getting back to the whole watching peers get married and have kids, more power to them. They're doing well in life by the measurement of the boomer standards of date in high school, get married, have kids. After high school, obviously, the get married and have kids part. I say congratulations to them because today that is a lot rarer statistically speaking. I mean, if I look around at more people, more of my peers, you might not see it as often. And I think I should probably should have told my friend that those who are getting married and and having kids are highlights that are the exception and not the norm. So, for example, me, my brother, and sister are all past the age of 25. None of us are married, none of us have kids, neither of them have talked about wanting that. I mentioned earlier that I do not want that, and I stand by that. I can only imagine how my grandmother will react if I actually mention that. Thankfully, it never really comes up with my grandparents or my parents, but my grandmother has been asking when my cousin on my mom's side will marry his girlfriend. Knowing the younger millennials slash older Gen Z patterns, I wouldn't count on that happening for quite a while. Yeah, seeing my grandmother be so inquisitive about that, and then a comment she made about how no one in our family is getting married, that being her and my grandfather on my mom's side, her kids and her grandkids. That's the family where no one's getting married at the moment. Some of my second cousins, who are the grandchildren of her her brother, my great uncle, some of them have already had kids. So my great uncle has like four or five great grandkids at the moment. Now, I bet if I brought it up with her, she'd probably be like, "It's not a competition," but maybe she just wants the great grandparent experience and isn't willing to admit it. Although if it ever comes up in regards to me, I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, it's not something I'm interested in. I'm not apologizing. I'm sure one of the I'm sure one of my siblings or the one cousin, and probably will eventually. It'll probably just kind of happen." I mean, my cousin on my dad's side, who has the older of my other uncle's grandkids, he didn't plan for, he didn't plan it. Neither did, and I'm pretty sure neither did my older cousin. But the difference is she was married, so I don't know if there were like discussions behind closed doors for them, or if it just kind of happened and they rolled with it. But yeah, to wrap up, it's not something for me. It was interesting to think about because of how my friend brought it up. If my friend wants to go for that, more power to him. I wish him the best. But that's all I have to say about that. So, comment what you think about this, if you've noticed a lot of or only some of your former classmates getting married and having kids, if it's happening in your family, if you're around mid to late 20s like me. Subscribe for daily videos. Give this video a like. I'll see you soon.